Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Morning Tailgate here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Crispy Bacon, here with James Gonzalez. How you doing this morning?
I have my Bill Belichick look on with the sweater, and feeling good though.
That is good. They are playing in Germany. We'll get to that here in a minute, but I don't know if it's sweater weather in Germany, but it doesn't look too bad there. I don't know.
Yeah, people are bundled a little
bit, but I feel like they kind of are anyways, no matter where they go. I'm not sure why,
Yeah.
but
nighttime.
So this week we had the Bears and Panthers game. Some might say it was exciting, some might not. What do you think of the Thursday night kickoff to Week 10?
Well, I did my best to avoid it, so I was prepping for kicking it, of course, here on Entertainment Hour as well, and kicking it that same night. So, I did my best to avoid it. I know it was a kickers game, which I think we all expected a little bit. Yeah, the Bears helped themselves out. That's the best thing. Even though they won the game, their draft pick, they just need help from others to, win with them. That's around them. And then with the Panthers losing, remember the trade for the number one pick went to Carolina, and Chicago got Carolina's number one pick. So they really helped themselves out because now the Panthers are 1-8, only rivaled if Arizona loses today. So the Bears could have the number one pick and their pick in this upcoming draft. So that really helped them out, I think.
I think it did. What do you think of it was really a rookie quarterback battle. What do you think of the Bears quarterback?
Well, you're not expecting much, and he didn't really do much. 20 of 133, or 20 out of 33, 162 yards passing. Foreman did well running the ball. He scored a touchdown. He threw well to DJ Moore and Commit, and that was pretty much it. But for Bryce Young, 21 for 38, 185 yards. He did spread the ball out. Adam Thielen got his catches, but you just knew both were not going to be able to score touchdowns. That was the big thing. It was whoever could get in the end zone, but each did have a touchdown, but it was never enough for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, between Justin Fields and the rookie quarterback, maybe the rookie quarterback has a better chance to help the Bears. Do you think that's possible?
Oh God. At some point, I think Justin Fields will come back and start, but right now it's Badgett, and it seems like both will put up just the same numbers passing. But the thing is, with Fields, you got to use his running ability, and it plays bigger now with the colder weather. So I want to see him back because eventually he's going to be auditioning for other teams. When you think about it, they are going to be drafting his replacement in this upcoming draft, as I mentioned before. So you have to see what Fields has left if you're a scout out there. And if you're another team, you're saying, hey, maybe we have something with Justin Fields. We put him in the right, spot. Maybe he backs up somewhere really good. Time will tell. But I think Fields will get it back, though, eventually.
I think so, too. It's just a matter of when, not if. But I know we don't talk high school, but what is the highest score in football that you've seen or
The
seen?
highest score in the game?
Yeah, like the final score.
God. And I grew up in like Southern California football, so sometimes the scores get out of hand, and you know that as well as in Texas. The team,
Right.
the team with the best facilities and all that will go play someone else, or they'll a bad team will come play there. I remember probably a 90-6 ball game or something like that, or a little more.
What was the score?
Probably 90-6, I think. 93-6.
Well, in high school football in Virginia, the final score was 104-0.
God,
I know,
jeez.
right?
That's not
I
even.
saw that the other day. And it's like this can't be right. I didn't know they were playing Madden.
You know,
Apparently they will.
usually their score, those type of scores are reserved for like women's girls high school basketball,
Right.
and then they always get in trouble, the coaches of the winning team, because it's like, hey, why are you running up the score? You know, that's always an issue in college, in high school and college. It's like it's not good sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's different where they are, but it's like, oh yeah, you should have read up the score. You didn't show great sportsmanship, but uh, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about running up the score when you're up a lot already?
I mean, if you're up, I don't know what the score was at halftime, but if you're up like 50 to nothing, I think you might want to, pause the brakes a little bit. Now
Run
if
the ball.
if the other team has points, maybe you kind of go full throttle, but maybe not score. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's always a chance you can come back. By the way, the game
Right.
out in Germany, there's an interception. The Patriots will have the ball midfield with 12, I think 30 left in the third quarter. I'm watching this, what do you call it, backwards in the mirror
Backwards.
that's mirroring the TV.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm watching it like that right now because I have a mirror right here looking at myself. I don't know why,
And then your TV
but it has a
behind you.
TV right behind me, so I can kind of see what's
Oh,
going
wow.
on. If I could read backwards, you should try. People should try it sometime.
Yeah, I know. Like for cameras, your right's the left and your left's the right, so it's kind of confusing on that one. But yeah, but as we get into this week's game, Germany's going on as we talked about with the Colts and Patriots. There is one, I guess, sad news to report. It's kind of involving your team, James, with J.D. Hayden, I think it was.
Yeah, DJ Hayden was a corner drafted out of Houston, and it's just weird because I remember a friend back then in 2013 asking me, "Yeah, will this guy make an impact?" I said, "Nah, not really." And he was fairly decent, but he was one guy that I knew wouldn't stick around. He wouldn't be a cornerstone. He ended up playing with the Jaguars, the Lions, among others.
In Washington, yeah.
In Washington, right. So it's always unfortunate. I think it was in a car accident too.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
The way it happened. You know, it's funny in the NBA. There was a hit and run where I think Kelly Oubre Jr. was hit by a car, and he's in the hospital with injuries. He's a Philadelphia 76er. But we're having an unfortunate run of these stories going on involving vehicles. So I'll remember DJ Hayden for his for promise in that time, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he had 328 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 46 pass deflections. He did play for 4 teams. Last played in 2021. Was drafted with the 12th pick overall by Oakland at the time in 2013. So he will be missed. I'm sure the Raiders will have some kind of remembrance memorial kind of thing today's game or this week's game. So on a brighter note, we do have more games to cover. We're going to start with the Cincinnati game going up against. I had the notes. Hold on. Going up against Houston. So who do you got for that one?
Okay, so I just got news that Jamar Chase will be playing, but he's probably going to be limited in this game today.
Not unlimited, but limited.
I'm glad you caught that. So Nico Collins, Damian Pierce and also the kicker will be out. Fairbairn and Jimmy Ward will be. Andrew Beck as well will be out for Houston. So those are some big key injuries. T. Higgins will be out as well for Cincinnati. So who's left? It's basically C.J. Stroud and himself. Robert Woods is questionable. We'll see if he plays. He's older. It's harder to get better. This is going to be tough for the Texans. I mean, Cincinnati, they can rely on the running game. They have Mixon. He can mix it up very well. So I'm looking at their injury list, and I don't see much that would hurt him other from Sam Hubbard. But I think Hendrickson on the other side will do damage. They have one of the best defenses, I think, in the league. So they won't miss their people as much as Houston would. It would take a godlike effort for C.J. Stroud to be as good as it was last week against Cincinnati. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Going with the Bengals. All right. Oh, I like Houston. I like Houston in general. I mean, they're a tough team. But Cincinnati's kind of coming back. And I like Burrow over Stroud, so I'm going Cincinnati over Houston. Big B has Cincinnati, and Tim has Houston. New Orleans and Minnesota. Minnesota's coming off of that, I guess come off victory last week. Who do you got?
This is tough because Hawkinson, Osborne are questionable. Jefferson wasn't able to come back. Jaron Hall will be out, of course. So it'll be Joshua Dobbs starting. And I think you'd rather have him anyway. He led that drive last week. That was really big. The Saints don't have too many injuries to think of. It's just themselves. If Derek Carr doesn't get into trouble, then the Saints can win this game. They just have to stop the Vikings somehow. Again, without Jefferson, I know he's trying to come back, but he wasn't ready yet. But I just want to see more from Matheson. I want to see Addison get his catches. But I'm going to go with the upset. I just don't trust Derek Carr. Taysom Hill will have to come in and have to, run his little gadget plays.
Right.
I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think the home crowd will get behind them and rally them. The defense will make a couple of stops and create some turnovers. I'm going Minnesota.
You're going Minnesota. Big B's going Minnesota. Tim's going Minnesota. I'm going Minnesota. I like Taysom Hill for New Orleans, and these two teams have had some battles throughout the years.
2018 championship or the playoff game.
Yeah, or the Brett Favre game, the Bounty Gate, I think it was, with New Orleans. If I'm not mistaken.
My God.
I could be wrong about that, but
Oh yeah. That was the bounty, the NFC Championship game
mm-hmm.
in 2009, I think.
So there's some bad history depending on what side of the ball you're on, between these two teams. So it should be a fun one. But Minnesota should have that crowd.
Oh yeah.
Green Bay and Pittsburgh. I guess the Super Bowl, what, 40?
I know it was
I can't
in the
remember.
Super Bowl after was those two. After the Saints and the Colts. Or far from that, though, these two.
Right. They're totally different now. You got two new quarterbacks. Who do you got?
Man. Micah Fitzpatrick, unfortunately, will be out. I want to see him come off those safety blitzes against Jordan Love. I think that would have been cool to see. So that kind of frees up Green Bay's passing game if it's there. The only issue is we'll have to see that. Kenny Clark will be questionable. Quay Walker is doubtful. Jazeer Alexander is also questionable or doubtful. So that hurts their defense, man. That really hurts. Man, I know Jordan Love got some confidence last week being the Rams. But I think Pittsburgh. I think TJ Watt will have, maybe JJ will show. No, I don't think he'll show up, but
he'll show up in the game as a fan, but
right. I think I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I think their defense will be too much. Kenny Pickett will, I hope, show up not only in the fourth but all the quarters and lead some drives, at least for field goals. At least, try to score every time. Since the Green Bay defense is banged up, go after it. Go do it. So, I want to find, I hope George Pickens, I know he unfollowed everything Steelers, kind of a temper tantrum, but I want to see, him get the ball more and all the other receivers they have, and then run the ball better. By the way, the Patriots missed a field goal. That's my reaction was like that because the ball literally went like that around the goalpost.
Oh yeah.
So 7-3 with 8:30 something in the third quarter. Colts lead.
Those kicks are nerve-wracking sometimes,
but the way it went around the pole, it was like, wait, did it go over it? And it went to the side. So you can't really tell if it was good or not.
You might have to review that. I don't know. I don't know if you can. But.
No, they didn't. They're showing it now. The ball went over the pole, but on the wrong side.
Ooh, that's not good.
That was weird.
Yeah. As far as this game goes, I was torn because I know technically these two teams are kind of rebuilding, especially Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have Rodgers anymore. He's off to New York. Jordan Love, he's been okay, and I know, when Packers quarterbacks first start out, they're not that good. They need time to build up their resume, so to speak. But I kind of feel like Pittsburgh has more experience with Pickett.
Yeah.
So I'm going. It's a home game, so I'm going with Pittsburgh.
By the way, Chris, let me say this. I'm going to be listening and watching into the YouTube stream of Tom Grassi. He's a Packers fan, and Tree, who's a Steeler fan. They're going to have a stream together watching the game.
Oh, cool.
And I'll be watching 49ers Jaguars, but I'll be tuning in. It should be a lot of fun with those two fans, talking about the game to one another. And Tom always mentions this with the Packers. He's, of course, a big Packer fan. He always mentions that, hey, this is an evaluation year. So, Chris, you hit it on the head where, hey, we're seeing if Jordan Love is the guy. If he ain't, there's next year too. And then if next year doesn't work out, hey, we'll draft someone else because probably they'll be down, in the records, so they can go out and
Right.
maybe draft a quarterback even this year if one falls to them. I could really see that happening because other from last week, he hasn't really had a game that stood out. Maybe there was another
Mhm.
one, but he needs more, and especially against a divisional opponent coming up.
I mean, I've seen a couple of games or heard a couple games where uh, Jordan Love has come back from behind and won a
Yeah,
game or
the Saints
two.
game, the Saints
Hmm.
game earlier this year.
So I mean, he has that under his belt already. So maybe that will help him out. It depends how the rest of the season goes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tim has Pittsburgh as his lock. Big B has
Ooh.
Green Bay. That's gutsy to pick Pittsburgh, but who knows? Uh, Cleveland and Baltimore, AFC North rivalry game. Baltimore looks like a tough team, new system, but still they kind of look like the Ravens of old. Uh, who do you pick for this one?
This is old Cleveland versus new Cleveland. I'm looking at both injury reports, and looks like the offensive line is kind of banged up for Cleveland. A couple of receivers out for Baltimore. They are arguably the hottest team in the league right now. They are having a couple of their corners, Marlon Humphrey, who's been banged up all year long, who is questionable. There's actually 3 corners who are questionable. So maybe if Deshaun Watson gets enough time, maybe him and Cooper can link up today. I know this is in Baltimore, but it's like their only chance offensively. I mean, somehow they can get their running game going. That'd be good too with Hunt and the other running back. But man, Miles Garrett, he's going to have to create some turnovers. He's going to have to, get to the ball. And that's tough against Lamar Jackson. He knows how to dance out of the pocket and make things happen. He's having another great year. It's just that he gets hurt at the wrong time, as we saw last year. So hopefully he stays healthy. I'm going to go with Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson does enough. I was going to say this is my lock, but I don't want to because it's a divisional game and anything can happen, so I won't do that. But I'm going to go Ravens. I don't think they disappoint. I think, again, they're one of the hottest teams, and I think they're going to win today over the Browns.
So you're picking Cleveland?
No, Baltimore.
Okay, Baltimore. Yeah, I'm picking Baltimore. Like I said before, Baltimore is that tough team. They kind of look like the Ravens of old. Maybe not like that with when Ray Lewis was there, but close enough. They do have a star quarterback, which they haven't had since Flacco. I mean, I don't know if you call Flacco one of the star quarterbacks, but he did lead them to a Super Bowl. So, and Big B picks Cleveland, Tim picks Baltimore. I think this should be a fun game. Very needed game for both these teams. Cleveland's third place in the standings. Baltimore's like first or second, so
They're first.
Cleveland needs this win. Okay. Cleveland needs this win to stay up top in the division, but it's that time where every game matters.
Especially divisional.
Especially divisional. Divisional and conference games are kind of needed. Tennessee and Tampa Bay. Tennessee is going to have Will Levis start at quarterback for the remainder of the season. At least that's a report. So who do you got
Mayo
for this
man.
one? That's right. Who do you got? Oh, you got Tennessee?
Bunning, it looks like will be out. That's unfortunate. Their corner. Tampa Bay, I know their defense is a little banged up, but they got some of their guys back. A lot of them are questionable today. I think it comes down to the quarterback play for both. Baker Mayfield, he's good rolling out of the pocket and throw. Will Levis, if he is able to get protection, they've had a lot of time off too. They had this Thursday night last game, I believe, before this one, so that might help them. A young team can look, more into the playbook or play film and see what can they do better. Man, this one's a toss-up for me. I've been struggling with this one. Even at work, I think about this. I don't know why. Just to think about who to pick. Yeah, I have no life. Let me get the Titans. I'm gonna go with Mayo Man in the coffee. I didn't put mayo in this, but that just sounds horrible. I don't care.
I like mayonnaise and I like coffee. I wouldn't put the two together, but I also wouldn't put ketchup on my steak either.
Oh no, we're not Mahomes. Yeah. Now I heard a thing where it's a Southern thing, and this group from Tennessee, right. I know, they actually do that where they put mayo with sugar, and they mix it up, and it's whipped cream. So
I never heard that, and I'm in the South too. So I haven't heard that.
Maybe that'll be a food review on Coast to Coast Network. Mayo and sugar, mix it up, and it's whipped cream. Yikes. But yeah, I'm gonna go.
I guess if you're out of it, you can make it that way. But
yeah, so I'm gonna go Tennessee, and hopefully you see a lot of Derrick Henry today. Hopefully, but the up front, the Tampa Bay defense is really good. Something has to give though. I'm gonna go with the Titans.
I feel like Will Levis has a chance to lead Tennessee to some victories. Tannehill, he's been up and down. I think he started. Where did he start with? Oh, Dolphins. That's right.
Yeah.
It's been an up and down career for Tannehill. I think at some point we kind of figured he would be, benched or released somewhere, but they're putting the rookie under, in the driver's seat of the car, and we'll see how that goes. Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield has been having a resurgence year since going from Cleveland to LA with the Rams. It's going to be a fun game. I'm kind of going Tampa Bay. Big B and Tim's going with Tampa Bay.
I'm the lone wolf in that one.
You are. But I think it's going to be a fun game no matter who you picked or whoever we picked. I think it's going to be an entertaining game to see what happens. You mentioned it earlier, San Francisco and Jacksonville. Several weeks ago, they thought this was going to be like a Super Bowl preview. Now, I don't know with San Francisco keep losing. Who do you got for this one?
Well, luckily they had their bye week, so they were kind of clear with the injuries. But Trent Williams, their left tackle, will be questionable. Everybody else will be back, though. So meaning Samuel and CMC was already back, but he's healthier. But Javon Hargrove, their defensive tackle, is questionable. So that's really big up front. But they have enough to stop Jacksonville, I think. But Jacksonville, looking at them, man. Let's see. They are, as I go through this, they are questionable with the defense here. Zay Jones will be out. That kind of hurts him with the passing game. But that means Calvin Ridley will have to step up, among others. Man, the 49ers, they're going to have a lot of fans there, I think. They travel well. We're waiting for Jacksonville to have like a statement game of some sort. and this would be huge. I mean, against the other conference game, this will be. This is one you need if you're really trying to prove yourself in Jacksonville. They're on a winning streak, but I think both were on buys. So last week, yeah, both were on buys. So both teams will be fresh. I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
Going Jacksonville. All right. Ooh. This is a tough game. I don't know what the weather is in Jacksonville. Hopefully
It's
it's not.
decent.
It's decent. So I guess
It's
San
not
Francisco
humid.
has a. Okay, so San Francisco has a fighting chance. I thought it was gonna be like
And
really warm.
and Trent Williams is active for the game. That just came up right now.
Oh wow! As we're
So he
talking
will
about it,
play. Yeah.
uh-huh. I'm going San Francisco. Big B's going Jacksonville. Tim's going San Francisco. So it's kind of an even split between us. Uh, this is going to be a big game for Jacksonville. I feel like, and I think it
Hmm.
would be bigger if San Francisco only had a loss on their record.
Yeah. Jacksonville has to treat this like a playoff game almost.
Yeah, I think teams that are in the playoff mix have to.
Hmm.
Uh, in the late afternoon window, we got Detroit and the Chargers. Detroit's having one of their better seasons in a long time.
Hmm.
Chargers are picking up steam in the AFC West. Uh, who do you pick for this one?
CJ Gardner Johnson, unfortunately, will be on the IR. That's going to hurt him. Donovan Peoples Jones is questionable, who they just got off of a bye week. So for the Lions, they're not banged up too much, but I really want to see Peoples Jones against the Chargers defense. Charger defense is really good too. I really, they're doing really good. The center will be out for the Chargers, Corey Lindsey. So that would be interesting to note. He's been out since September, but maybe that man, what not Hawkinson, but the defensive line can do some good stuff for the Lions. Excuse me. So that would be really good. Hutchinson, I forget that.
I believe it's okay.
That defensive in for the Lions. He's really good. Maybe he'll have a star-studded day in LA. I'm hoping the Lions fans come out. I mean, you saw them in Lambeau take over that side of the field, and then in Tampa Bay, you saw a lot of Lion fans. I'm hoping that they show up in Inglewood there. That'd be nice to see take over the stadium. So I'm gonna go Detroit. I think Jared Goff coming back to that stadium will have some enthusiasm, I would say, even though it's not facing the Rams, but he played in that stadium with no fans. So that was kind of awkward with the Rams in 2020.
Yeah.
But I think there's motivation for him to play there again. So I'm going to go with the Lions. I think they have a great day. We'll see. I think Montgomery will be active for the Detroit Lions, the running back. We'll see how much he plays. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's the start of the fourth quarter in Germany. Everybody's bundled up. It's still 7-3 Colts. I feel sorry for those fans who went to that game today.
I do too. I mean, I feel like it would be a bucket list kind of thing to do that. But yeah, it's, I don't know, looks chilly there. I'm going Detroit for this game. I think Goff is going to play well. The Lions have had a good season so far, on pace to potentially make the playoffs. But they got to go to the Chargers today to continue that road, that path. Big B has Detroit. Tim has Detroit, so we're all a clean sweep here.
Wow.
for that game. In this next game, Atlanta and Arizona. Atlanta is going to continue to start Heineke, and Arizona is going to finally start Kyler Murray. We'll see how that goes. Who do you pick for this one?
So he's gonna put down the headset and the controller and play football. Oh, that's
He's not going to play Madden
Murray.
anymore.
He's gonna play.
Well,
They got that new Call of Duty coming out this week. He's gonna be all over that. James Conner will be back for him. Well, he's questionable, but he's off the IR at least. That's really good for them. DJ Humphries, their offensive tackle, is questionable. The guard is also questionable for them. I'm looking at the Falcons. McCollins will be out. It's unfortunate Grady Jarrett is on the IR, their defensive end. They're kind of missing a lot of people on the defensive side, are the Falcons, man. I feel like this is a game. I mean, last week you saw Atlanta blow the game against the Minnesota Vikings and let them come back and win in Atlanta. That really was unfortunate. But it's the Falcons. I understand it now. It's like 28-3. All these, games they could have had but lost.
After watching the Patriots, you mentioned 28-3.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know what it is. Arthur Smith, he's not calling the right plays. The execution isn't there. I feel like they're going to have a letdown. I feel like Kyler Murray's going to have a good – oh, my, that was almost picked by the Colts. The Patriots are going for maybe a field goal here, but they're around the doorstep. Yeah, field goal attempt. Mac Jones almost threw a pick. But, yeah, I'm going to probably go – you know what? I'm going with Arizona. I don't trust I don't trust the Falcons. They have Bijan Robinson, but Arthur Smith isn't using him. It was a waste of a draft pick. I mean, you have your other running back, Dallas Jazeer and Patterson, among others, but Kyle Pitts gets lost in the offense, but Drake London gets his. But they have all this talent, they have all these people, but they're not being used correctly. I'm gonna go with the upset with the Cardinals. The Patriots kicked the field goal, so it's now a 7-6 ball game in Germany. Yay!
It's a very intense game.
Ugh.
Almost like a chess game, I guess.
No, baby checkers.
Baby checkers. Do you think Arthur Smith for Atlanta will last this season?
The season, yeah, he'll last because the division is obtainable, right? But man, if you have a chance, because the Saints are giving the Falcons a chance and the Buccaneers a chance. But just the way that they're losing these games, you saw it against Washington, both home games, Washington, Minnesota, they blew. Mm-hmm. So I would say just because of the way that they're losing these games, I don't think Arthur Blank will have patience for it. Man, I don't care how many appearances weekly you make for Pat McAfee on his show. That shouldn't, give you the right to be a bad NFL coach. So, yeah, I think it's now or never this season for Arthur Smith. I really do.
I think so too. I mean, I got the Falcons for this one. So do Big B and Tim. But I mean, both teams need a win. It's a conference game, not necessarily a division game, but it is a conference game.
Well, Arizona would mess up their pick though if they did win. But that's Arizona. They would do that though.
That's true. But you're in the California area. Would you like to see your UFC Trojans quarterback as a Cardinal?
I want to go watch them. I know that. Man, they tried to come back last night. Caleb was doing well, but they lost to Oregon. Again, they weren't going to lose or win another game this year. I I mean, there's talk about like, hey, he'll be the first pick, but it might be someone else. There's a lot of great quarterbacks in this draft. But I think they're gonna go maybe Kyler Murray for one more season, just try to take some money off the rest of it, the rest of his deal. But I can see that happening, even though his father said, we only want to play in the big markets, but being the first pick, that's not going to happen. So he's either going to be with Chicago or Arizona. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. It'd be nice to see him every year playing against the Rams in LA. That would be something. I think a lot of USC people would like that. So I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Sure. Now, I mean, there was but somebody had a conspiracy theory where when the Chiefs and Broncos faced off and the Broncos won that game, it was like a reverse tank where the Chiefs just gave the Broncos that victory because they didn't want to see like a Kyler Murray go to in the division. I thought that was crazy, but I mean, it seems logical.
Yeah. Notice I put my hood like this because you said conspiracy theory, so I didn't want to get found out. No.
Oh, that was you? I'm playing. Dallas and New York Giants. Dallas is at home. Giants are your road team. Giants are starting a new quarterback. Dallas is not. I'm going Dallas. Who are you picking?
Tommy DeVito will be the starter for the Giants. It's not going to matter.
Annie.
Yeah. Evan Neal will be out. And I think that's a good thing for the Giants. Had a poor game against the Raiders last week. Adoree Jackson, who also got hurt against Las Vegas, will be out. Daniel Jones, of course, is on the IR. It's credit to him for staying in the game for one more play. I mean, you don't hear about that in this time of, all these cameras and all these eyes looking at you. He had a moment there where he was sacked. He got back up, even with the torn ACL, and then he just went down after. So I don't know if that's the last time we'll see Daniel Jones, but
didn't he get a big contract?
Yeah, he got I think a 5-year deal, and he's only just begun with it. So
I mean things can change.
Yeah, you can just cut him, but you have to eat some of that money though. So they'll be in the running for a one of those quarterbacks in the draft. Dallas, I don't think they have too many players on the injury list, and if they do, I don't think it matters too much. Turpin is the only one questionable. It does suck for Diggs and Van Der Esch. Those two I really wanted to see today for the defense. But anyway, this is my lock. I think Dallas win. I know the spread was like over 14. I think they win by at least 21. So yeah, I'm gonna go Dallas in this, no doubt. This is the lock.
Yeah, Big B and Tim are going Dallas too. It's going to be interesting to see what the Giants do. They did sign Barkley back.
Yeah, for a 1-year deal. But if I was him, I would. I know you're loyal, but I would leave after this season. I would go somewhere else.
It's going to be interesting to see what backup quarterback they pick for next year. I know there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks out there for the market come free agency and all that.
Might be Daniel Jones.
Might be Daniel Jones. Around. It depends on how DeVito plays. He's a rookie too, but we'll see. Washington and Seattle. Or should I say the Commanders and the Seahawks? Not to confuse the two.
In the state of Washington.
Yes, in the state of Washington. Not D.C. State. Who do you pick for this one?
This is tough. Seattle doesn't have too many injuries. They just have incomplacent play. Curtis Samuel will be questionable, but I think he'll be going today later for the Washington Commanders. This is a game where both teams, if they, whoever wins, it feels like, hey, they're going to be not legit, but you could trust him more. And whoever loses, you can't trust ever again. That's what I feel like. Sam Howell is going to have a game where he's going to be upright. He's going to have to be really good. But, man, that Seattle defense, if they're right, they can get after people. They can make plays. But they're very young. They're very inconsistent. And it's very unfortunate because I had high hopes for that defense. Something's got to give in this game. I mean, Geno Smith has to play better. Maybe they draft up and get a quarterback. Maybe I think that would be the route they go. But for now, I'll go Seattle as the home team. I know the home crowd will go, for them, of course, and be loud. But, man, they have a tough time stopping the run. So I'll go with Seattle over the Commanders.
Going Seattle over Washington?
Mm-hmm.
I am too. One, because it's a division game, or not a division game, but a division team. And I think Washington needs a win to stay on pace to make the playoffs. I'll make it my lock. Why not?
Nice.
I got nothing to lose, I don't think. But it should be a fun, interesting game. All these games are going to be fun, I think. So, and then for Sunday Night Football, I believe it's Sunday Night Football, Jets and the Raiders. Who do you got for this one? It's your team.
Unfortunately, Colton Miller, their offensive tackle, is going to be doubtful, so that's going to hurt. Hopefully Aiden Connell gets out of the pocket and make things happen. Peters, the corner, is questionable. The fullback, Johnson, is questionable, so that's really unfortunate. For the Jets, they also have a offensive lineman out, Billy Turner, their tackle. That's unfortunate. One of their linebackers and defensive ends are questionable and out. Man, this is a game where I feel like it's going to be a really close one. Okay, so if the Raiders, if they get after Zach Wilson, they're going to make him uncomfortable and throw the ball away or throw it into double, triple coverage. So I hope that will be the case where the Raiders really get after Zach Wilson. And then somehow they got to stop Breece Hall, the running back. That's going to be big. We know the Raiders, even though they stuff the run, they will give up big plays. So they have to stop that. Offensively, though, they got to just go to their meal tickets, Adams and Jacobs, and then have third down Renfro going. Michael Mayer, the rookie tight end, hopefully he'll get the catches there. Man, this is going to be really close. I think it's going to come down to field goals. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think the Jets were favored by 1, but I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go with the Raiders. They look rejuvenated. They obviously did not want McDaniels and Ziegler in the building, and it showed. Last week, I hope this has come back to bite them. It probably will. But where they were smoking cigars, playing music like they won the Super Bowl. And I'm thinking, whoa.
Did you see Randall Cobb? I guess he was going for an interview, and he thought the cameras were off, but they were on. And it kind of caught him. I think this was on ESPN, like you said, with the cigar. And it's like, I don't know if you should have done that.
We can, the Raiders, they'll take all the motivation, and hopefully they use that. Maybe they block him, or if he tries to block someone, hopefully they take him down. on the play or whatever. They push him down. Maybe you'll see that tonight. The good thing, too, I read about this. I think a lot of Jet fans sold their tickets because Aaron Rodgers isn't playing. So the crowd should be predominantly Raiders. But you would think if Rodgers was playing, that stadium would be mostly green. But but luckily Rodgers isn't playing, or else he would have a field day with that pass defense. Just fortunate who the Jets have to throw out there for the Raiders. I'm gonna go Raiders though, just by a little bit.
I'm going Raiders too, but how do you think your interim coach did last week, and do you think you want him full time? I know it's only been
this is tough to say because if he leads them to the playoffs, you don't do the mistake you did before and not keep him.
That's priority number one.
Yeah, you don't need another change of head coach unless you really feel confident about the guy. I feel like they'll keep him around maybe for one more year just because, hey, he's rallying the troops. They like actually him around. They like the coaches now. They like who's in place. He is a Raider fan growing up. There's a lot of things that I know you've heard and everybody heard about Antonio Pierce. Even though he played for the Giants, he's been a Raider for life, like I am. So, I hope he sticks around. I know this is one game, and usually when the intern coach, they win their first game usually, but the second game they usually lose. That's what I've heard, and that's been the case for intern head coach. It's like, hey, they have a great first impression, but then things level out, and maybe they'll keep the energy. Really have enjoyed the energy back, the toughness back, the fearfulness, and that's what I wanted to say. Hey, we're the Raiders. You're not going to do things to us like you did before. We're coming at you. We're coming at you on top, and we're going to win the games. That's all I want. Is that fear?
Yeah, just win, baby, as they say. Big B and Tim both have Las Vegas winning this, and Big B has the Raiders as his lock.
There we go.
So he has confidence in your team.
That's a scary thing.
It can be, but I think it's good. It's a good thing. And in the end of the week, Monday Night Football, Denver and Buffalo. Denver's been doing well. They've had two wins under their belt so far. Buffalo, I don't know. A lot of people still think that they're the team to beat, the top team or the second top team in the AFC. I don't know about that. I just don't. Who do you got for this one?
This is a tough one. Micah Hyde, by the way, is out. Their safety, and that's really huge. I know they traded for Douglas, and lucky they did, because one of their corners are out as well. So, man, this is big because they don't have Dawson Knox either. And their defense is still really good for Denver. This is a revenge game sort of for Von Miller. They play with the Broncos all this years. Expect him to be alive and have energy for this game. That's going to be fun. Yeah. The thing is, Russell Wilson, he looked decent against the Chiefs when they had that upset win. They're coming off of a bye, which helps. Buffalo, yeah, you mentioned, hey, they're not getting much from the running game. Diggs will play, but he won't be himself. He's a little banged up, I saw, but it comes down to Josh Allen. If he stops making those hero attempt plays and he just makes the right throws, I think they'll win the game. But for once, I think it'll be close with Denver on a Monday night or on a primetime game. Just Wilson has to limit mistakes, rely on Freeman to run the ball, and just get the ball to the receivers. And Denver's defense, I think, will keep them in the game with Sertan. Man, I really want to go. Oh, God. I really want to go with the upset. And it feels like if Buffalo loses, you can never trust them again. That's what it really feels like. If they lose to Denver on Monday, I'm gonna go with Buffalo though. But again, if they lose to Denver, they're just middle of the pack. They're not a contender anymore. I don't care if it's injuries or anything like that. I don't give a damn. I'm never trusting them again. But I'm gonna go Buffalo after, or I'm gonna go Buffalo now. But if they lose to Denver, never again.
Never again. I hear you. I mean, what? It's been 3 years since we've heard the hype of Buffalo when they had that epic run they had when they were going up against Mahomes and all that. I think this is kind of like the game where it's like, if you win it, there's still fans that will call you the second best team next to Kansas City. Although I think that's Miami at this point.
Oh, yeah, they split this year. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going Buffalo. Big B and Tim's going Buffalo. That one's a clean sweep. As we look in the comments here, we had Christy Wilson saying that she is picking the Cowboys. She is a Cowboys fan. Not expecting a score of 40-0, however. Going back to week 1. Man, if they played like that again today, if they play like that again, I could see that. I could see something like that. Maybe that high, not that high of a score, but something like that.
Dude, I forgot all about that. That game ended up being rainy and just ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, follow Christy on her YouTube channel. She does pre and post game Cowboys talk, like good previews and good recaps. I watch it every Sunday, so check her out on YouTube, y'all.
She's also saying that Parsons might have a couple of sacks today.
I can see that.
Hopefully,
he's going to make Tommy DeVito look like Danny DeVito.
I like that. She's talking about the Seahawks game. Seahawks Commanders are not good.
Yeah, like I said, you can't trust either. It feels like whoever loses, you're not going to trust them anymore. A lot of untrust going on in the league so far this year.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard much on distrust in the NFL in a long time. Well, except if you're Roger Goodell, but I mean, he probably hears that every day.
I'll take the salary, though, every year.
Oh, yeah. I would, too.
30, 20 million, whatever it is.
Yeah, she's also saying that the Seahawks signed Geno Smith to a new contract before the start of the season. But they kind of did that to Daniel Jones, too.
Yeah.
But Geno Smith is being more successful.
Yeah, it's 1 year. He's in the first year of a 3-year deal. It's kind of a prove it year this year. And the team has the option to dump it after this season. So he's got to put up or shut up, or else he'll be elsewhere.
Yeah. I think both quarterbacks, New York,
same thing,
and in Seattle, kind of a put up, shut up kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
They need to win. Before we head out, any final thoughts? Any injury updates?
Yeah, nothing's come up, but Veterans Day I think was yesterday. So shout out to all the veterans that we have. Both Tims, I believe, right? So
I believe so.
On C2C here, among others. Also think about the ones that never came back. That's also for Memorial Day, but think about that on Veterans Day. Just thank you for the service, keeping the country free. The world can be a horrible place, and we have these little distractions of NFL football. But today, Like I know the Fox crew, they're doing the show from I think the Air Force Base in
I
Air Force,
forgot. Yeah.
Colorado Springs, and they do that yearly. And it's good to see Michael Strahan back. I know he was out sick, but those shows are always nice. And you have the cadets there. Jimmy Johnson was saying, "Oh, they're polite as heck and great people." Oh my God, Mac Jones is through an awful interception. The Colts are in the spot to take over the game. It's 10-6. I forgot they kicked a field goal to the Colts. So maybe the Colts will hold on. But yeah, just thank you to all the veterans out there.
Yes, thank you to all veterans out there that served and for our country, and enjoy some well-needed football if you can. Should be a fun day. Should be a fun couple days of football action. We will be back with Morning Tailgate next week, as well as Sports Minute and Entertainment Hour, kicking it. So tune in for those shows and a bunch of other shows here on Coast to Coast. Enjoy your Sunday and Monday. We'll be back next week. Have a great day.